Hey guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about meditation and how it can a lot of times be seem more than it is and harder than it is, and a lot of times people feel that it is impossible to really come into a place where you're without thought, and to even be able to start to recognize and slow down your thoughts can be really challenging too. I remember years ago, back like probably 7 or 8 years ago, when I first started with listening to guided meditations, and just that feeling of like, wow, where you recognize how quickly your mind starts spiraling onto thinking about other things besides your breath or besides what you're listening to, and that constant like chatter, and they call it the monkey mind, it just is continually going and going and going. And ultimately, with the goal for meditation, it's not necessarily to silence your mind, because ultimately your mind is going to be your mind. Your mind has purposes and parts and things that are going to be activated, and you're not really going to be able to fully and completely silence your mind, at least like not when you first start. And that's totally okay. What you want to be able to get to the point of being able to recognize your thoughts, being able to observe them and see. And observation really is the first step for working with mindfulness and being able to start identifying like, hey, this is something that's playing in my head and it's just repeating and repeating, and it may not be true. A lot of times the thoughts and the things that are cycling through our minds aren't even true. And until you can get to that place of being able to recognize, you really are controlled by your subconscious and by whatever these beliefs that you've held are, and it can control everything, from how you're feeling and the experiences and the relationships that you keep with others. And until you can really start to dedicate that time and space to be able to sit with yourself to see like, hey, this is just something that's going on through my head, it doesn't mean it's true, and I don't have to attach to it. And for me, that's how I have worked through debilitating anxiety. And I mean debilitating, like to the layer of feeling complete and utmost terror, like somebody was about to come in and kill me or something. And over the years of seeing how one little thing, like one little thing of feeling guilty or shame can spiral into a full-on panic attack, and you can't really break those chains and break those things from happening until you get to the root of them. That's why the medications and all these things that we're doing to kind of band-aid these situations aren't really going to do much until you can get to the root of, hey, why am I always stuck in this fight or flight or freeze response? Why am I always stuck in survival and panic and thinking that everybody's out to get me and to hurt me? And where is the root of this? What does this come from? Can I feel safe with myself? Years ago, I couldn't even place my hand on my heart without getting anxiety, because I felt like every time I put my hand on my heart, I would feel my heartbeat and I would think that something was wrong with me. And then this would spiral into another panic attack of just having to learn to dig myself out of. And I know I've spoke before, I've used plant medicine to kind of initiate those panic attacks, to be able to consciously work through them through prayer and intention. And it was not fun. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure, because there were times I literally felt like I was gonna die. And the body sensations from the panic attacks were just so intense and so real that I didn't feel like I was gonna even make it through to tell you about it. And now here I am today, and I have since worked through this. Now it's kind of like a pendulum, every time that you have these situations come up and you recognize them, they start to lose their grip. They lose the power that they had over you when you can see like, hey, ooh, that feels weird, because really you're going to be observing. Mindfulness is about observing. Meditation is about observing. So if you're observing, there's a reaction happening in your body and you're feeling a certain way, you start to feel bad or uncomfortable, and you could say like, oh, where's that from? And you can trace it back, because if you're not witnessing your thoughts, then you can at least witness your body, you know? Like you could tell like, oh, I don't feel good today. Like, why? And a lot of times it's going to be connected to the thoughts and things that you're thinking about. And it's all about being able to witness them and observe them and come back into a place of acceptance. Acceptance is the second step, just being able to accept wherever it is that you're at, being able to accept whatever it is that you're feeling, giving yourself this container of support and space to feel. If you are feeling fear, if you are feeling shame, if you are feeling sadness, to be able to hold yourself in this space, in this container, and to be able to process whatever it is that you're going through as a witness, as an observer, not as the actual situation. You want to see yourself like you're seeing yourself if you were a little child, and give yourself the compassion that you need to be able to move through these emotions. You don't want to be caught in the victim mentality of, I'm going through this, I'm a bad person, blah, 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 blah. You want to be able to separate and detach from the experience that you're going through, and to be able to see and hold yourself in this space, maybe putting your hand on your heart and your hand on your stomach, and being able to breathe through whatever it is that's coming up. And this will give you that space to transmute the energies, the suppressed emotions. If you're breaking down and crying a lot, you have a lot of suppressed emotions. And if you can give yourself space to be able to feel them and move through them, it's going to start getting less and less and less. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about meditation and how you can use something as simple as mala beads to be able to start to witness and experience your thoughts. For me personally, I'm at a place now, right now, I'm not using a traditional mantra or meditation with it. I am simply just using each bead as a full inhale and a full exhale, being able to witness it with myself and observe and surrender to me breathing, to surrender to the thoughts that come up, and just sitting in that space and letting these things come in, you know, letting that feeling of, oh, I've got so many things to do, this is going to take too long, I can't do this, and just breathing through it, and really being able to breathe into your stomach and allowing your breath to expand, and imagining that as your breath comes in, it's like this white light that's coming in, and it's clearing your energy centers and clearing any blocks that you have. If you take a deep breath and you recognize, ooh, I can't really breathe into my belly, or I can't really breathe up into my chest or in my brain, you're going to see that like you actually have energetic blocks. And I still shake. I've been doing these practices for years and years and years, and my chest still will shake and quiver when I'm breathing. I could do it now because I did my practice this morning, but when I first started, it's like it's hard to break through. And over time, and that's the thing, it's that commitment to yourself of doing these practices regularly. You're not just going to meditate once or do a guided meditation once and then all of a sudden like, oh yay, I'm like all healed and everything's fine. No, that's not how it works. It is the beginning, opening door to get you to be able to observe where you're at, and then to be able to hold that space when you have to go through the real work, the shadow work, the darkness, the things that you've suppressed and you've hidden from yourself. If you're not rooted and anchored in your own breath, you're not going to be able to make it through those steps. And that's where a lot of people are bypassing and skipping right now. You have to be able to sit in your shadow, and you have to be able to sit in your darkness. And until you can observe and witness without attaching to it, you're not going to be able to do that. So I challenge you to take 5 minutes today and just sit with your breath, sit with yourself. No matter what you're doing, just slow down. Even right now, just take a few moments, take 10 deep breaths, and see how you feel after. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.